I am truly one very blessed young woman. I am married to my best friend and mother to our first child and have a career that lets me be a traditional mom and modern woman. Yes, I have it all, but without the love and support of my family and husband, things would be very different. I was born a boy. You wonder how such can be, no doubt. To some my story is a fantasy or out of the Twilight Zone, but I am living a true romance that beats Danielle Steele and Harlequin, hands down. My name was Carlton Jesse West, a petite red-headed dynamo with hazel eyes and quick wit that let me make friends with just about anybody. Now I am Carla Jessie Unger, wife of Felix Oscar Unger. He is a raven-haired Adonias whose hazel eye can see others' pains. His parents died when he was a baby, so he was raised in the Clark County orphanage where he met Pastor Franks of the Ruhama Methodist Church. Due to the sad fact that his aunts and uncles did not want him, he stayed there until graduation. Mama is Janine Marie West, another red-headed hazel-eyed powerhouse who owns Janine's Fashion Emporium where her staff of seamstresses create most any outfit that you would want as well as a selection of lingerie, hosiery and shoes. Daddy is Clark Wayne West, a natural athlete with blonde hair and gray eyes. He is a certified carpenter/plumber/electrician/mechanic thanks to his uncles and Central County Trade School. He now owns West Builders where he builds any building or repairs/customizes anything from a scooter to a truck. It was on my Halloween before I started Central County Grammar School that I discovered what being his girl was all about. I let Mama dress me as Little Orphan Annie because of my red hair. I really enjoyed the feel of hose and swish of my skirt along with the fact that nobody thought that I was a boy. Felix went as Popeye the Sailor Man. I wore a red dress with white waistband and collar with a matching panty as well as tan pantyhose under panty, white socks and black Mary Janes. His costume was a black uniform shirt, blue pants, loafers as well as the pipe, arms and cap. He made a great Popeye with his imitation of the icon that hid a secret that would bear its fruit later. After that Halloween, I told my parents about liking to dress as a girl. They got me a selection of lingerie and sleep shirts and hosiery to wear after dinner since I love wearing pantyhose. Daddy loved for me to cuddle up next to him and carry me to bed and tuck me in. I also got me a few nice dresses to wear out when we went to dinner as well as a skate dress for roller/ice skating. For me, this was heaven as I got to be a boy and a girl. Every Halloween would see me wearing a different girl's costume that let me wear a skirt or wear pantyhose to show off my legs in Christmas. For Christmas, Daddy would dress as Rudolph, Mama as Miss Santa and I would dress as Santa's helper, wearing a green or red Tinkerbell-style dress with tights. We were able to get Oscar to help out as another Christmas elf. As kids, we were in charge of the goodie bags for those who saw Santa. Oscar gave the boys their goodie bag while I gave the girls their bags. He knew that I was a boy dressing as a girl, but never made an issue about it. Best of all, we became best friends and he kept my secret. We were always in the same class or homeroom all through school, enjoying being on any sports team for the school, or church as well as being in the choir and drama teams. Heck! We were also into scouting with Daddy being a scoutmaster and Mama a den mother. We learned many a skill as scouts that would aid us in our schoolwork and after graduation. With Mama's help, I learned how to dress as a girl with nobody being any the wiser. I had breast forms and gaffs that gave me a feminine figure that along with my slight frame and naturally hairless body gave me the androgynous body that I needed. In school, I competed in sports, did drama with Oscar. When we were together, people saw a near 7-foot Adonias and a much smaller version in me. It was after we'd graduated and Oscar had gone to Europe to visit his ancestral home before returning for college while I spent the same time as a girl. I did volunteer work at Ruhama United Methodist Church and Central County Community Center where I worked in the nursery, office, or as a coach's assistant. I kept myself very busy, not thinking about the future when things started that made my life complete. It was my day off, so I went to the Central County Park to relax as I read one of my new movie tie-in novels. I was wearing a baby blue sundress with white hose and sandals when, to my surprise, Oscar strolled into view. It had been a while since he'd seen me dressed as a girl, so I felt safe in him seeing me. "Hello, Mississippi. Are you new here?" I motioned for him to sit by me. "No, I've lived here all my life." "Why?" "Because I've lived here all of my life. I know everybody in town. Now please tell me about you." "Oscar, you have not told me your name, yet you want mine? Who are you? Look closely, and you will know." "Damn, Jess. You look great. But why are you dressed as a girl?" I could tell by his reaction that he liked what he saw. But what exactly did he see? "Thanks, bud. That means more to me than gold." "Well, you're worth more than gold. Remember me dressing as a girl for Halloween and Christmas?" "Yeah. Even back then, I thought that you were cute." "Well, over the years, I have found that I am really a girl. It's just my body that betrays me," I sighed. "Really? To me, you have always been a girl from the start." "What?" "When we first met, you were dressed as Little Orphan Annie, and I was Popeye, the Sailor Man. When you dressed as a boy, I still saw a girl. But we've been on the same teams and showered together. You know that I'm a guy. Not much of one, physically." "Have you had a physical recently?" "Yes." "Why?" "Bet the results prove that you have very low testosterone levels." "Yes, in fact, I have naturally high levels of estrogen, but my body has yet to choose to be male or female." "Well, I'd say that you have already made the choice. And I approve." "Thanks. How about dinner and a movie tonight? They're showing the new Bond flick." "Dinner at Marty's Grill?" I love his seafood platter. "Pick you up at 5 tongue sticking out. It's a date. Now to tell Mama." Back home, I started a dinner of spaghetti and meatballs for my parents. I made the meatballs and fried them before I got out the cheesy meat sauce with lots of herbs and spices that Mama and I had made last week. I had just turned down the heat on the sauce and added the meatballs when Daddy showed up. "Dinner smells great, Princess." "Good choice. He has always liked you as a girl, you know." "Yes, and approves of me as a girl, too. Glad he's my best friend. Just like your mother and I. We grew up next to each other and were best buddies before we fell in love with each other." "That's so sweet. But why am I an only child?" "Complications at your birth forced me to have a procedure done that prevents any conception," said Mama as she sat at the table with us. "Complications?" "Honey, I had great difficulty in conceiving due to my contracting cancer. I was cured, but was left practically barren." "Mama, Daddy, am I really your child, or adopted?" "Princess, they took my sperm and your mother's ovaries and make you in a petri dish. When you were ready, you were placed in her womb." "Wow. I never knew how special I am to both of you. Now I am ashamed of being a girl," I wept. Daddy hugged me. "Princess, we are both proud that you have the courage to be yourself. But if I stay a boy, I can give you grandchildren." Mama stroked my cheek. "Carla, we both have brothers and sisters out there that we see at the family reunions. They all know about you and are waiting to see you at the next one." "Really?" "Really." "Gee, Thanks. Mama, can you get dinner ready for me? Yes, why? I have a date with Oscar tonight. Not quite yet, young lady, ordered Mama. What have I done wrong? You were very lucky that your enhancements did not fail you. They are worn out and need replacing. Remember last year when you played Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz? Yes, both forms popped out due to the tightness of the darn corset I wore. After that, I played her as a preteen girl. Good thing that happened during rehearsal. And you wore them today. Right? Yes, Mama. But I used the adhesive as well as wore a leotard under my dress. I was making sure that such a malfunction would not happen again. Then it's a good thing that I went to the store and got you this new bodysuit, she replied as she got out what looked to be an empty skin. Bodysuit? Better than anything else, princess, added Daddy. Will this let me be a girl? Do anything a girl does? Yes, except for have a baby. How do I put it on? And will I be able to remove it? You take warm bath, then fill the tub with fresh warm water. Then you put it on like pantyhose. Only your face and hands remain uncovered. To remove, repeat process adding the solvent to release the suit. This mean that I can now wear all of those uniforms that you wore? Yes, and you have those to wear if you'd gone to school as a girl, too, added Daddy with a smile. Daddy, do I look like Mama when she was my age? Princess, seeing you in those uniforms will bring back memories of your mother. The only difference is your red hair to her brunette. Guess that you were after her back then, too. Yes, I hope that Oscar is the gentleman that he seems to be, Daddy said as he grabbed Mother. Get a room, you too. No public displays of affection in front of minors. I laughed. Growing up, Mama made sure that I had the best breast forms and gaff in my size. But with the new bodysuit on, there was no way to tell that I was ever a boy. I had firm breasts, a tiny waist and feminine hips that felt as natural as if I had been born a girl. The specially grown skin was cultured from T cells with nanotechnology that governed the skin into creating a male or female form. Once worn, it would adapt the body of the host to the new gender as well as create any missing body parts. This advancement had revolutionized the medical profession, forcing the closure of many bogus companies out to swindle the public. There had been a host of maladies that were afflicting individuals that simply donning the suit would cure as long as it was worn. The only drawback was that if made permanent, you were stuck in your new body as two suits could be worn by a client without causing stress on the body that would kill it. I wore a blue sailor girl dress with matching panty, white hose and tan sandals while Oscar wore a red polo shirt, white pants with sneakers and a captain's hat to look like Jonas the Skipper Grummy. When he arrived in his white AMC gremlin done in a nautical motif, I knew that there was a theme to our date. He'd earned it during auto shop in our freshman year when Pastor Franks found a vintage white AMC gremlin in an old barn along with other cars, trucks and farm equipment. Ruhama Methodist Church had received the property when the owners retired and sold he farm to another local farmer. The windfall of selling all of the stuff helped the church to provide for the Clark County Orphanage and the auto shop. Oscar fell in love with the gremlin and thanks to his devotion to its restoration, was rewarded with its title once completed. The car had all of the modern conveniences with an electric motor/gas engine that got 100 mpg. And was quiet as could be. We had a great time on our date and we enjoyed simply being together. This was exactly how he treated me back when we were kids. Yes, we did tease each other back then, but it was more as if we were siblings than best friends. I could tell that other boys were interested in me. They all knew about Oscar and his pawing around with me in a dress or some other feminine outfit, but I had changed since the last time I went out in public as a girl. I still had my auburn locks, but now they were gathered into two loose pigtails flowing from my crown. Next morning, I got up early to make everybody breakfast. After cleaning up, I wore a black skirted leotard with fishnet tights and ballet flats with a wild apron and cap. It was from a selection of clothes sent by my family when their daughters grew too big for them. I made scrambled eggs with bits of sausage, bacon, cheese, and ham mixed in along with buttermilk biscuits and country gravy. I had just gotten the table set and food on the table when Daddy grumbled his way in. "Where's the coffee?" "In the pot, Daddy." "Will you please get your own cup?" "Good coffee, Princess." "Is this some of that flavored coffee?" "Yes, it's a special blend with butter pecan and French vanilla added. Makes a great cold coffee treat. Might try it that way later on." "Any plans for the day?" "No." "Why?" "We've been discussing your future and your mother has a plan to help you be a girl." "Help me? How?" "By teaching you everything about what it means to be a woman," she answered as she sat down to breakfast. "But I thought that I already knew what I need to know." "No, you can pass as a girl, even have intercourse as a girl. But you know nothing about what we women go through. If more men knew, they'd have more respect for us," she sighed. "Does Daddy know?" "Yes, I do, Princess." "Have you seen how I treat your mother?" "Well, you don't do all of that chivalry stuff like those knights. But you don't treat her like a second-class citizen either. I don't want to be treated like I will break if treated harshly. Your daddy and I share the housework equally. Mama taught me everything there was to know about being a woman that summer. I learned about personnel hygiene and what women endure physically during and after sex. Now, I had an appreciation for a woman's body and why some hate man. I learned about sexual assault and unwanted pregnancies, abortions, as well as those professions that call upon a woman to use sex to make money or achieve any gain. What I found appalling was the fact that some use sex to destroy and dominate. I knew that I could never do that. While I was enrolled in Mama's girls' school, I was also dating Oscar and volunteering at Ruhama Methodist Church as the assistant to Marianne Leanne Matthews, Minister of Music and Youth Minister, Sebastian Reginald Matthews. They'd married during seminary and had a gift for selecting music and teaching/leading the youth as well as setting up activities for the entire church. I had fun doing vacation Bible school, choir, and teaching on Sundays and Wednesdays. I knew that I wanted to be doing this as a career. While I was doing this, Oscar was doing volunteer work with Pastor Franks, getting things set up for us that I knew nothing about. Oscar and I dated each other during the summer as we got to know each other as we redefined who we were. We'd do most anything as a couple, but refrained from sex as we both wanted our first time to be special. We both HD fantasies about how it'd be and laughed over how we both had fantasies that we could enact for our enjoyment. I wanted a place like my parents with a swimming pool and gym as well as a backyard big enough to play sports in and grill, along with a dock with a boat for water skiing. Their house had a full screened-in porch where Daddy would grill on the Saturdays that we didn't go swimming. It was equipped with a grill and kitchen nets so we did not have to trek stuff from the kitchen. There was a living room on the right set up as theater with a library of videos and big screen TV. The den on the left had 3 computers and a couch for napping on with a full bathroom connected to both. My parents' bedroom was behind the living room, mine behind the den with the kitchen/pantry/laundrette at the rear and stairs to the basement where the water heater and storage for everything with central heating on the back porch. I knew that I wanted a lot, but my parents had taught me to set goals for myself and to not stop trying to achieve them. What I did not know was that Oscar would be the catalyst that was needed. I went shopping with Mama to get me some clothes for church. I had plenty of the school uniforms, but paltry few casual or dressy clothes, so we took my boy clothes to the church and searched through the donations for any that I might want. I was able to get for myself 3 blazers with matching skirts, blouses, low heels, as well as 3 dresses with spaghetti straps with a pastel blouse before we left. Ruhama Methodist Church ran a thrift store where people could donate items as well as volunteer to repair. Pastor Franks had instituted the ministry when he became our pastor and had earned the respect of the congregation and local businesses as the crime rate went down and society embraced the underprivileged. At Walmart, I went wild, with Mama's silent approval, and got all sorts of lingerie, pantyhose, and dresses that caught my eye. My grandparents had provided a trust fund for me to be used for college, so I had plenty of money for clothes as well as a car. My parents both drove a hybrid Chevy Blazer that was like Oscar's car. They'd bought them from the school's auto shop, as well as a hybrid AMC Jeep for me as a graduation present. I kept a selection of clothes and a well-stocked cooler in case of an emergency. I'd learned to be prepared from dealing with the bullies who were out to cause trouble. Even with the openness created by the Ruhama Methodist Church with its outreach program, there were still gangs in the neighborhood who sought out the weak to exploit. Pastor Frank had sought to combat the problem by setting up a neighborhood watch, Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts through the Clark County Community Center. It had been an uphill battle, but now the neighborhood was a safe haven ever since it had been made into a gated community. Oscar and I were getting ready for our freshman year at seminary and were on our last date of the summer when everything changed. He wore a black tuxedo, and I wore a pastel blue sundress with matching hose and sandals. He'd made reservations at the Cordova Grill, knowing how much I loved eating there. He'd kept silent the entire meal about why we dressed up until after dessert. Then I saw my parents enter, and I knew that something was up. Oscar knelt before and took my hand, placing a diamond ring on my finger. Carla Jessie West. I have loved you ever since we first met. I have seen you go from being my best friend into a beautiful young woman, sitting before me. Will you honor me by becoming my wife and making my life complete? Before I answer, you know that I may not be able to give you children. Can you be content with that, as well as the fact that I have yet to transition? Carla, all that I see is a beautiful woman. I can wait for your transition. And I have our house ready as well. Yes, I bought the field by the church and built our place there. What? I love it. You have seen it? Every day as I volunteered at the church. You built my dream house. Yes, how could I not know what it was? But I cannot legally marry you, I sighed. Why? I also need to change my documents so that I am legally female. There is no need to fret. Pastor Franks and I have already taken care of that. Your new documents are here with me. My love. Then we need not wait for my surgery, my love. Why? I am wearing a bodysuit that has already made me a woman. My first intercourse will meld it to me, giving me the body that I want. Then will you marry me? Yes. We were married soon after, and within a year, I was a mother, working with my beloved, working with Pastor Franks, who was soon retiring and chose us to succeed him.